Thursday morning, it's now time for the news. My name is Paa Kwesi Schandorf. Inflation rate for the month of September hits 37.2%, the highest in more than a decade. The Ghana Statistical Service announced the new figures at a news conference on Wednesday. The key drivers identified are food and transportation. Here's government statistician Professor Samuel Kobina-Enim.
From a share point of view, Greater Accra contributed more than a third of the overall inflation that was recorded in the month of September 2022, specifically with a share of 34.7%, followed distantly by Ashanti region, about half of it, 17.9%, and the region that contributed least to the inflation for the month of September 2022 was the Northeast region with a contribution of 0.6%. Focusing on the regions that recorded the highest overall rate of inflation, that is Eastern region, and the region that recorded the overall highest food inflation, that was Central region, we look at the drivers in these respective regions. So overall, Eastern region had the highest rate of inflation of 47.1%, and this was mainly driven by transport that had the highest rate of inflation, 76.7%, followed by housing, water, electricity and gas and other fuels, 68.3%. It needs to be emphasized that housing, water, electricity and gas has a relatively higher weight of 0.8%, and also clothing and footwear has a higher weight of 0.9%, and the division within Eastern region that has the highest weight is alcoholic beverages, food and non-alcoholic beverages, which has a weight of 49% and a corresponding rate of inflation of 47.6%. Within Central region, which recorded the highest food inflation of 50.3% for the month of September 2022, it was mainly driven by milk and other dairy products and eggs with a rate of inflation of 66.3%, followed by fish and other seafood, 65.7%.
The National Road Safety Authority is worried about the increase in deaths on the eastern regional roads. This follows an accident on the Apirede-Somanya Road that left 6 people dead. Statistics available at the NRSA show 498 road crashes have been recorded in the eastern region with 325 deaths and 2,377 injuries. Director General of the National Road Safety Authority, Engineer David Osafo-Adontin, says immediate measures need to be taken to make the roads safer for commuters.
In terms of surfacing, it's not bad, just a few potholes here and there. The line markings are all there, but the crash barriers are missing. In any normal standard road of this nature, you need crash barriers so that areas where you see the embankments can be protected, because anybody could fall a victim. You can have a tire burst, your brakes can fail. There is only one thing that can save you. That is if the crash barriers are there so that it can hold you whilst you prepare yourself to maneuver back into safety without falling into the. I'm told where we are now has taken a couple of vehicles crashes, and if you look at the terrain, indeed, in a curve and also in descent, it's really a big issue. So we are assessing. We'll go back and think of what to come and do in the interim.
Crop pests can hugely impact yields and result in post-harvest losses. Fumigating, however, can be daunting, especially for large farms. The Technology Consultancy Center of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology has therefore come up with a tractor-mounted sprayer. On Tech Thursday, Lab FM's Kwesi Deborah speaks with the innovators who have also developed a mechanical cocoa pod breaker.
My name is Asaya Kumia Michael, a mechanical engineering student of KNUS.
My name is Mikel Mubarak Katafo, mechanical engineering student KNUS.
My name is Benjamin Donkobwaku from the mechanical engineering department at KNUS.
My name is Mark Daniels Adinote Aflo, an agriculture and biosystems engineering of KNUS, and we've been able to design a glucose splitting and beans extraction machine as you can see here.
First, Ghana is one of the largest producers of cocoa, right? So it means there's a lot of demand for the production process to be mechanized in order to be able to produce huge quantities.
Okay.
But unfortunately, in the farm, we use cutlasses to break the cocoa pods, right? And that is very inefficient and dangerous. So because of designing a machine that could still break the cocoa pods without using manual labor. So as the name goes, it's there basically to extract the beans from the cocoa pods. So it uses two processes. You first cut the cocoa pod, that would break open the husk in the cutting chamber. Then secondly, do the second stage of the machine's operation, where you beat the beans out using the rotating sieve.
I am Boache Richmond.
My name is Enchi Eric.
Petia for Alberta. And we fabricated a tractor-mounted sprayer. What motivated us to fabricate this tractor-mounted sprayer is the issue of crop pests on farmlands, and this caused post-harvest losses to farmers. And so, this is the tractor-mounted sprayer. It has 3-point linkage here, which will be mounted on the tractor, and it drives its power from the power takeoff of the tractor using the power takeoff shaft. The power takeoff shaft powers the pump, and this pump pressurizes the liquid. This pump pressurizes the liquid, and from that it moves through the pipes to the nozzles. So the nozzles are the ones that perform the spraying. And we have a water level indicator that shows the level of water in the tank so that the farmer can easily see it. And this is the back view. This back view has a mechanism that helps the farmer in the spraying. The farmer can turn it this way and lift it. That is when the farmer wants to travel with this without using it. This is the normal position. But when the farmer wants to spray, when the farmer wants to spray shorter crops, the farmer has to bring it down and stretch it like this so that he can spray shorter crops. And in this section, this side, this section, the farmer can lift this one up to spray taller trees like mangoes. So this is the mechanism that we've developed to help. This is a mechanism that we've developed to help farmers with the issue of crop pests on farmlands. You can also lift this one up to achieve higher heights apart from this specified one.
The Technology Consultancy Center won a proposal from the Royal Academy of Engineering, UK. And the project was on a higher education partnership in sub-Saharan Africa. That entails innovation, design and production of innovative engineering components.
The Techiman Municipal Girl Child Coordinator, Ellen White, has reiterated the need for government to scrap the 20% tax on sanitary pads as it remains a contributing factor to the increasing number of teenage pregnancies among school-going girls in the area. She made this call during a program to commemorate this year's International Day of the Girl Child. And Asabet has details in the following report.
Children living in poverty face many barriers to education, but the stakes are especially high for girls. This is because in most poor homes, a girl's education is often the first thing families sacrifice when they face economic hardships. As the world marked the International Day of the Girl Child, a day designated by UNESCO to amplify the voices of the girl child and encourage them to stand up for their rights. More than 500 girls in the Techiman municipality were brought together by the municipal office of the girl child. Miss Ellen White is the municipal girl child coordinator.
Today we are celebrating our girls, and the focus is to draw attention on the challenges that the girls face and how best we can promote girls' empowerment and fulfillment of their human rights.
She bemoans some of the challenges girls within the municipality are being faced with. Key amongst them, according to her, is the inability of girls to afford sanitary pads due to its cost, adding that the current situation is contributing to the rise in teenage pregnancies in the area.
When we get them sanitary pad, I think it will be able to do away with a lot of issues happening in the municipality, especially when it comes to teenage pregnancy. A lot of our girls are pregnant because of sanitary pad, thanks to the sanitary pad. Oh yes, so I'll have to go to a man for money to buy sanitary pad because my parents are not buying it for me. And at the end of the day, the man takes advantage of me. So I'll become pregnant if I'm not fortunate.
She however appealed to government to work towards scrapping the various taxes imposed on sanitary pads to make it affordable for teenage girls.
The scrapping of taxes on sanitary pad is something that we all pray for. It will be the good news ever to our ears. Because when it was 5 cedis, our girls were not able to buy. How much more now that they are buying at 10 Ghana cedis? So I think something must be done about that. We have to have a second look at that. We wish it would be tax-free.
Municipal Director of Education, John Kweju Amisa, expressed worry at the abuse of social media by girls, a situation he says has the tendency of affecting their education.
Engage in all forms of social vices like lesbianism, like smoking, like gambling, or dating, kissing, and all forms of the negative aspects of social media. We know social media has come to stay. It has come to project a whole lot of things through ICT. But it seems that many of our young ones are focusing on the negative sides of social media, and which we have seen as barriers of education, that it is intrinsically and to a large extent affecting the education.
Senior specialist pediatrician at the Techiman Holy Family Hospital, Dr. Jacqueline Asibi, on her part, emphasized that the number of girls at the school-going age getting pregnant in the municipality is alarming, adding that there is the need for a strong counseling of girls in schools to control the situation.
Teenage pregnancy is one of the important, social risk factors for giving birth to premature babies. It comes with a lot of social, psychological problems, stigma for all these girls.
The National Peace Council is worried about the cases of violence in the country's public universities in recent times. The council says some of these acts of violence, if not checked, will mar the peace of the country and the academic environment. The NPC has begun a series of conflict and violent extremism capacity training engagement with student leaders on various campuses. Northern Regional Correspondent Martina Bugri now reports.
Speaking at the training workshop, Director of the Capacity Development and Outreach at the National Peace Council, General Sani Kumar, said the objective of the training is to enhance the capacity of the students on conflict management skills to prevent violent extremism and terrorism.
The focus of the whole training is to be able to build up capacities of these young people, because we know that conflict is everywhere. You cannot run away from conflict. It's a natural thing. Every environment has its own conflicts. And so it is a very important thing that the young people are equipped with the necessary skills to be able to manage conflicts amongst themselves, even as students, between them and their lecturers.
Mrs. Kumar also admonished the students to use dialogue in resolving their grievance.
We trust that with the knowledge they acquire, they themselves would now begin to understand how to manage their own conflicts. because we know that many times some of the conflicts we have, some of the fights we have, even inter-hall conflicts, which have become a problem within universities recently. We saw it happen in Legon between Mensa Sabah and then with the Commonwealth, and we saw it also happening in Tech recently. I think it's a major issue, and I think it's timely that student leaders, they will begin to have such. We even hope it can go further when we get more funding.
The Northern and Northeast Executive Secretary of the National Peace Council, Father Thaddeus Kusa, on his part, called on the leadership in conflict-prone areas to help resolve all outstanding conflicts.
But in the North, one of the main factors or key issue is what we call the unresolved violent conflicts that we still have to deal with. So what we are trying to do is how can we work whilst addressing the other factors that can promote violent extremism? How can we also begin to work to resolve most of the conflicts that are still unresolved, so that at least once the people are living together in unity with greater capacity to be together in terms of social cohesion, it minimizes the vulnerability and the capacity for the extremism to enter into such communities. So in the North, these are the major threats that, if not resolved, can easily escalate into what we call these violent extremism activities.
Some of the students also shared their experience with JoyNews.
Violence is not always the only way. So one thing we should do is that we shouldn't go ahead demonstrating and all that. There should be dialogue. If it is about student issues, find out from the people that are supposed to do that. Find out the need, and before you can talk about everything, dialogue among them to find out the whole issue before you demonstrate. And I don't think demonstration is the only key. Communication should be the best way.
The Internal Audit Agency has held a capacity building workshop on the preparation of the 2023 annual risk-based internal audit for its members in the Northern Zone ahead of the 2023 budget reading. Martina Bugri again.
The auditors were drawn from the Upper East, Upper West Savannah, Northeast and Northern region. Similar trainings have been held in Ho and in Accra for other members. Speaking at the opening ceremony, the Deputy Director General in charge of Field and Technical Operations, William Kofi Ofe-Mensah, said the training is aimed at equipping the members with the required skills.
The training is aimed at equipping staff of the internal audit units with the requisite skills to prepare and submit the 2023 risk-based internal audit work plans on time and in the form and manner that complies with the agency standards. The nationwide training is organized, taking cognizance of the ongoing reforms in the public sector internal audit, which promotes practice of risk-based internal auditing to prevent and reduce irregularities associated with the management of public funds.
Speaking on the sidelines of the program, he said overspending is a big issue in the public sector.
Information systems, there are risks of overspending. One key aspect of what we are doing in Ghana is overspending, the tendency to overspend, especially if now that we are using gift mix. So many people are not on the gift mix, so they spend outside their budgets. When you go on the gift mix, you reduce that risk. So overspending risk is a very important aspect in the public sector. The spending of items outside the budget, using one budget for another.
The Northern Regional Internal Auditor, Abdullahi Sani, said the workshop comes at a time it is most needed.
Yes, this training is important because the PFM Act requires that every covered entity should prepare a risk-based internal audit work plan. That's what we use as an authority or as a basis to implement our internal audit activity during this year, that's 2023 year. So without knowledge or capacity of how to put in place the plan, most current internal auditors are found lacking or wanting as to how to put a plan in place. So it's very important for participants, those who are taking part in the program. It will help build our capacity to be able to put in place a risk internal audit plan, which will then enable us to carry out our quarterly internal audit activities, which at the end of the day we are supposed to submit quarterly reports.
That's all on the news this morning. My name is Paa Kwesi Schandorf. For more, log on to www.myjoyonline.com, and I'll leave in the company of Benjamin Akapo and Benisa Bubedu Lanza.